ASUS's MacBook Air killer, Yahoo's first browser, and great Father's Day gadget gifts under $100, this time on Spoonfed Mobile. How do you improve on one of the best Ultrabooks on the market? If you're ASUS, you take the UX31 and you create the ZenBook Prime, which has 3 key improvements. The first is a new 1080p anti-glare display, which is really awesome. And you have a built-in backlit keyboard. The last one didn't even have a backlight. And you add extra muscle in the form of Intel's new 3rd generation Core i7 processor. And for $1399, you have one of the best ultra-portable laptops ever made. But let's see how it test drives. In terms of the physical design, the ZenBook Prime is nearly identical to its predecessor, the UX31, but that's a good thing in our book because this 3-pound Ultrabook has an all-metal design. It's a brushed metal, a brushed aluminum, so it feels really sturdy in the hand, and it also, to us, it's actually more attractive than the MacBook Air, which is starting to get a little stale. On the outside, it's dark metal, and then on the inside you have a lighter touch, but it looks pretty good. And then you start to notice some of the biggest differences between the UX31 and the ZenBook Prime, and it starts with the display. This is a 1080p screen on the ZenBook Prime versus 1600 by 900 on its predecessor. And the biggest difference that you'll notice is not only in terms of brightness, because this one is better, but you went from a matte finish, you'd have a matte finish now compared to a glossy finish before. And you can see on the left-hand side, the image almost looks a little bit washed out, and you can also see that there's a lot more information on the page on the right-hand side because you have that 1080p or full high-definition experience, and the viewing angles are much wider because this is an IPS screen, so it's brighter, more detail, and the colors are much better. The other big difference between the UX31 and the new ZenBook Prime is the keyboard, and at first it only looks like there's just a slight color difference going from silver to black. But ASUS has improved the travel so that when you're typing, it's a lot more comfortable experience. Before, we thought the keys were kind of mushy. The ZenBook Prime is pretty similar to its predecessor when it comes to ports. On the left-hand side, you have a USB 3 and an SD card reader as well as a headphone jack. And on the right-hand side, you have another USB 3, a mini VGA, and micro HDMI. ASUS did this to save on space, but it is a little bit annoying that you're going to have to add an adapter in order to attach this to an external screen. One feature that remains from the original ZenBook is that the ZenBook Prime has Bang & Olufsen speakers that are built in right to the hinge right here. And when we fire them up, you'll see just how loud they get. So it's a nice, rich and full sound. We do notice that there's a difference in volume between media that's resident on the laptop and streaming audio, but overall you're getting very good sound out of a thin and light package. So what about performance? The ZenBook Prime, thanks to its built-in SSD, boots in under 30 seconds. We got 23 seconds in our tests. And when you're resuming from sleep, when you open the lid, it's back up and running within 2 seconds. What's more, because of the 3rd generation Core i7 processor, which has improved graphics, we were able to play games like World of Warcraft at native resolution at above 30 frames per second. Most Ultrabooks get in the mid-20s. And even with all this horsepower, the ZenBook Prime has a built-in battery that lasts 6.5 hours, and that's a half hour longer than its predecessor. The ASUS ZenBook Prime is a textbook example of a manufacturer getting it right by taking our criticism to heart and making the key improvements that make a good product great. Because the ZenBook Prime has a much improved 1080p display, so it's one of the sharpest that you'll find on an Ultrabook. You're getting a much improved backlit keyboard, and you're getting a lot more power thanks to the 3rd generation Core i7 processor that's on the inside. $1399 is a lot to spend for an Ultrabook, but you are getting really great performance in a thin and light design with 6.5 hours of battery life. Do you Yahoo on your iPad? Yahoo hopes so, because it's coming out with a new browser called Axis, and it's available for the iPad, the iPhone, and for the desktop as a plugin. But the real appeal is what you can do on Apple's tablet, because you have a browser that uses Apple's engine, but under the covers you have a whole new way to search. So for example, if we wanted to do something like Samsung Galaxy S3, a hot phone that's coming out, and you wanted to learn more about that, you'll see that the results that start to come in give you, instead of just links, which is an option, you have pages that you can jump to. So what Yahoo is trying to do is cut one of the steps out of searching by presenting all of these visual icons that you can flip through. If you find a page that you like and then you want to share that off with someone else, the Access browser goes a step further than the stock browser that you'll find on the iPad by giving you not only email and tweet options, but a pin it option here too. One of the ways that Yahoo tries to make Access a little more compelling when it comes to the synchronization of the desktop and the iPad is that when you add favorites here, they should automatically show up in your browser of choice. In this case, we're using Firefox. So let's say, for example, we're going to add ESPN right here to my favorites, and then refresh our browser. See, it automatically shows up here. But the chief appeal of Access is the ability to start searching for anything without having to interrupt your browsing session and give you a visual cue as to what your results are going to be right on the fly. Father's Day is here, but as it turns out, those couple of Facebook shares that you bought haven't made you an instant billionaire. Good news, we have 3 gadget gift ideas for Father's Day that are under $100, and all 3 of them are ones that I would like. Dads can sometimes be accused of not knowing what the heck is going on, but with the Nokia Lumia 900 from AT&T, which is 99 bucks, he'll always be in the know because you have quick access to all of these live tiles that give you quick updates of what's going on in his world. That includes the ability to create groups. So for example, here we've created one for family, and you can automatically add people by their last name. You can see all of their social networking updates just by scrolling over to the right. And right here underneath everyone's picture, you can send a text with a tap, as well as send everyone an email at once. And if he's into sports, right on the home screen you can have exclusive access to the ESPN app, which is exclusive to the Lumia line, and you can get all of your scores at a glance. Other features include 4G LTE speeds on AT&T's network, and a really sharp Carl Zeiss camera, which is 8 megapixels. Whether your dad goes on lots of business trips or he just wants to blast his tunes in his own side of the house in the little man cave, he can get big sound out of a little device in the D-Best Solo speaker. This is a little Bluetooth speaker that's about the size of a clementine orange, but it pumps out big sound, and we're going to give you a little taste right now. So you get a lot louder sound than you're going to get out of your typical smartphone, and yet this is small enough that it can fit in a breast pocket. All of that for just 60 bucks. So it's a pretty good deal for just about $60. You're getting a lot of sound out of a tiny package. Your dad probably loves his iPad, but he doesn't love typing on it because he doesn't really like putting his fingers on the touchscreen. With the Logitech ultra-thin keyboard, you get the full tactile experience that you get from a laptop in an ultra-thin design. And you also get really good travel for something this small. So we'll just start typing a line here. And it really feels natural, despite the fact that you don't have a lot of room from side to side. The keys themselves give you nice springy feedback. And so the cover part of the name comes in from the fact that this uses magnets, just like the smart cover from Apple. So when you pick it up, it's nice and thin, gives you aluminum on the outside for extra protection, and you just snap it together and you're ready to go.